Betrayal is never forgiven. Every betrayal pays off one day. Betrayal is something that is seen as very bad in every country, in every culture, and those who betray are called traitors. What is done to traitors is clear. When the act usually referred to as betrayal occur, very difficult situation can arise. As the president of the Russian Federation Vladimir Putin said, everything is forgiven, but betrayal is not forgiven. Ukraine has not forgiven betrayal either. Hello, the viewers of The Pioneer. How are you? I hope you're healthy and well. Today, I will again give you details about the magnificent operations carried out by the Ukrainian army and the Ukrainian intelligence officers. We often mention it in our map reports and reports on the agenda. The Ukrainian army is carrying out a magnificent defense against the Russian army. This defense is wearing out the Russian army. Therefore, the Russian army is looking for different ways to destroy this defense, but Ukraine is quite prepared. So, what are the details of the operations carried out by the Ukrainian intelligence officers? Let's analyze the developments together. As the Pioneer team, we continue to convey the Russia-Ukraine war to you. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so as not to miss our daily map reports and reports on the agenda. I also read all your comments on our videos. Please continue to express your opinions about our content in the comments. Let's start if you are ready. The Pioneer report. Kiva was originally Ukrainian. In the 2019 elections, he ran for president of Ukraine. However, the Ukrainian people did not trust him. As a result, Volodymyr Zelensky won the election. Allegedly, he was recently targeted by the Ukrainian intelligence officials. Kiva had been wanted for a long time. Ukrainian armed forces were looking for Kiva on the front line, and the Ukrainian intelligence officers were looking for Kiva all over the world because Kiva had left the country after losing the elections and tried to legitimize the Russian occupation by making various television programs during his stay in the Russian Federation. As we mentioned, the Ukrainian intelligence officials followed Kiva for a long time. Kiva lived normally within the borders of the Russian Federation. He was still making television programs and denigrating Ukraine. Kiva went further and claimed that the Crimean Peninsula, occupied since 2014, was a historical territory of the Russian Federation. The Ukrainian armed forces defend Ukraine at the cost of their lives, while Kiva was praising Russia on television. Kiva's action betrayed both Ukrainian soldiers and the Ukrainian territory. Moreover, the Russian Federation, which occupied Ukraine, was doing Kiva all kinds of favors. No nation could bear this betrayal, neither could the Ukrainians. Therefore, Ukrainian intelligence personnel took action. Kiva was the target. Kiva had to pay for his betrayal. Kiva allegedly lived in Moscow. Ukrainian intelligence personnel first put Kiva under technical surveillance. Any information about Kiva's whereabouts was analyzed. After the information that Kiva was in Moscow was confirmed, Ukrainian intelligence personnel entered the Russian Federation in the skies. Now it was time to follow Kiva in Moscow. After finding Kiva, Ukrainian intelligence officers began to follow her in Moscow. For a while, Kiva's daily routines were learned. Then the planning phase began for the realization of the operation. Kiva used to take a walk in a park in Moscow early every morning. Afterwards, he would go home and then go back to normal life. Therefore, the most suitable spot for the operation against Kiva was the park where he took his morning walk. Ukrainian intelligence officers checked the area and the park for some time. They checked which routes Kiva was using and whether there was anything on the route that could jeopardize the intelligence officers. Then, the timing of the operations was decided. The traitor had to be eliminated and had to pay for his treason. Unaware of what was about to happen, Kiva left his home on the morning and went to the park. It was quite an ordinary day. It was snowy in Moscow. But there was also winter sunshine. As Kiva was about to finish his walk in the park, Ukrainian intelligence personnel opened fire on Kiva. Kiva was hit by bullets and fell into snow. Kiva was allegedly one of the priority targets of the Ukrainian intelligence services. The Russian intelligence was also aware of this. Kiva was living in the Russian Federation under so-called Russian protection. However, as it turns out, this protection was only so-called because Ukrainian intelligence officials had successfully eliminated Kiva under the Russian protection in Moscow, the capital of the Russian Federation. Vasyl Melyuk, a Ukrainian intelligence official, had previously stated, The only possibility awaiting the enemies of the Ukraine is annihilation. It seems that the Ukrainian intelligence personnel have fulfilled Mali's promise by carrying out a successful operation and managed to eliminate one of the Ukraine's most important enemies. Moreover, this was done in the Russian capital. This news caused great joy among pro-Ukrainians and great sadness among the pro-Russians. There is also another group of people who are facing great fears after this news. They, like Kyiv, betrayed Ukraine and sought refuge in Russian Federation. As we mentioned earlier, the Russian authorities failed to catch Ukrainian intelligence officers before the attacks in Moscow. Unable to catch them, the Ukrainian intelligence officers fled again, destroying the Kyiv under Russian protection. This means that others who have sought refuge in Russia now fear for their lives because the Russian administration, which disesses them with the promises of protection, cannot protect them even within Russia. There are many reports on this issue in Russian sources. In these reports, there is also great anger over the inability of the Russian intelligence officials to identify Ukrainian intelligence officers. Russian sources often put forward the idea that there is a weakness in the Russian intelligence, which is claimed to be quite successful. We also think this idea is correct because Ukrainian intelligence officers had previously carried out an operation on Russia's eastern border and struck a major blow to Russia's trade. As you may remember, this attack was recently organized on a railway line. Russian sources often put forward the idea that there is a weakness in Russian intelligence which is claimed to be quite successful. We also think this idea is correct because Ukrainian intelligence officers had previously carried out an operation on Russia's eastern borders and struck a major blow to Russia's trade. As you may remember, this attack was recently organized on the railway line. Many new issues are expected to come to the agenda after the assassination of Kyiv. The most important of these is the situation of people who previously betrayed Ukraine and fled to Russian Federation. After the assassination of Kyiv, these people may surrender to the Ukraine again, believing that the Russian Federation will no longer be able to protect them. This would give Ukraine a huge advantage, but would the Russian Federation assassinate them in return? This is quite possible. What do you think? What effect do you think the operation of the Ukrainian intelligence will have? Do you find Ukrainian intelligence successful? Do you think Russia has intelligence weaknesses? Do you think Ukrainian intelligence personnel will carry out more operations? Let me know in the comments. I read and care about all your comments.